Hello everyone. So I came across with this beautiful uh, menu animation. It's not, yeah, it's basically a menu, but it's look like the landing page of sports shop or something like this. And I thought, well, this is a very good example to show how to use Wix Animation API, how to use it. So let's try to build it. So I took a screenshot, and we need a plan before we even start to build it on the in the editor. So I already opened a new site, but I also opened Figma and start to planning. Okay, so this is the screenshot of the from the video. So we have like a menu here, and we have another section that fills the whole screen, right? And this section is looks like a section with a grid in it with 6 rows that display different content. So we need a header, we have a header, and we have our section, and we have also a footer. We don't need it, but let's keep it for now. So I also have here the canvas. So we have something like this. So I'm a little bit new with Figma, but we need a layout, a grid. But the grid, it should be columns, and we have, you know what, let's go with 5 columns, because I have only 5 content pieces. So we have gather of 1 pixels. You can see in the you see in the video that we have like a very light line here. You can see that there is a line here between the cells, and we have let's say 60 pixels header. It should be 60, and then we have the different row for the content. And the content, if we look closely, it's look like we have, when you hovering, so when you hovering like this first cell, you can see that when the mouse is in, it reveal a background image, and the icon is stay the same with you have like a box behind it with color, and there is like 2 screens that one goes up and one goes down. So if we divide it to components, it's like we have a main container who should sit like this, I don't know. Okay, so it fills the whole column, and then we have the background image, like this. Okay, we have the background image on top of it. How do I make it front? Okay, so we have the image that it filled the container, and then we have 2 parts of the screens, and this is like the static screen that it always on top, and it's not going to change on hover. Okay, so it's something like this. So when wait bring to front. Okay, so when we hovering, it's doing something like this, right? This go up, this go down. Okay, so let's create our first box, and if we build it correctly, this is why we plan in advance, so it will be really easy to just duplicate it and then work with the animation. So it's make our process a lot faster. All right, so let's start. So let's say we don't need this logo, so let's delete it. And let's say our header is 60 pixels height. Okay, and our body should be 100 of the screen side, which is dynamic, so we can set 100 view height. Alright, and now we have what we need. Let's see, we need to add grid to our content section. So let's choose custom, and we need 5 columns and 1 row. Alright, so which something like this. So this columns is equal, it's always equal. Alright, so now we need our main container, right? So like a big container that is fill the whole column. So let's add one. Quick add, we need a container. Let's drag it inside and let's place it inside the first column, and it should be 100 width and 100 height. So we can just stretch it. And you can see that we have a border here to the container by default. We will not remove it yet, maybe later. Okay, so now we need the background image. So let's quick add image, and we can drag it inside our container, and the same, this is one stretch, right? Alright, so let's change our image, and you see that I already upload my icons, the brand icons. Come on, what happened? Let's go. Try again. And the images, so let's pick one of the images. Let's pick this one. Great. And you can basically decide what is the focal point. When the image is responsive, you need to make sure that the main content is always where you want it to be. So yeah, I want the face, so it's smartly generated already. Alright, so we have our main container and we have our background image, and now we need the 2 screens. So let's add the first screen. It's also it will be a container, but before we will do it, I can say that you will be half, right? So 50% of this container, but I like to work with stretch elements, so I just add a grid to this main container. So grid of 2 rows and 1 column, and I just fix the height of each row. So basically they always need to be equal, right? So we can just say 1 FR, and this one is 1 FR. Alright, great. And now I can drag it inside. I will add some background color so we can see it. It should be white, but for now I will make it let's say pink, just for us, so we can see it. And now I stretch it, and you can see that this is exactly 50%, and I can just duplicate it and stretch it again, but now it's covered both rows, and we need to fix it by, we can just go to grid area and fix it to start on the second row and end on the third one. Alright, so it looks like this. Perfect. And now we need our logo, but we can't add just the logo because you can see that in the video it have like a white background, so it needs to sit inside its own container. So let's add another container, and this one will be white in advance, and it should be, we can decide the height of it. So you can see that if I will drag it inside, so it can it like attached to our container. So I can do it differently by just, you know, changing the positioning here in columns, or I can do another thing is to replace our container with vector art. Okay, and then it will not attach to, it can't attach to vector art, but I will keep this container. But basically you can work with basic shape. Okay, so I said this container height will be 100 pixels, and it should fill the section, the width. So it's 100 width, and let's just place it correctly. So it should be docked to the left side or right side, or to the center, it doesn't matter, as long as the absolute center. So I will remove the docking from top, and now you can see his center, but it's centered to his own row. If I select the main container and adjust grid, you can see that is perfectly centered, but for the first row. So I need to make sure that it sits on both rows. Okay, I forgot to do something, so I need to cut it, and I need to paste it inside our main container. So this is our main container, and this is another method how to paste element inside specific element. So you can Control V, and you can see that it now perfectly centered because it sits on both rows. If I change this to the second, you can see it now second, but only to the first row. Alright, so now I can name it, so I can understand exactly what each container is used for. So this is our log container. I will call it logo box, and this is our top screen, and this one is the bottom screen. And to the main container I will call it our card. So this is the card. Alright, and this is of course the image. Okay, so let's change the color again to be white, and this is why I didn't do it white in advance, because you can see nothing basically. So what we need to do now, we're missing the brand logo. So let's add, we can go to media, uploads, and I can choose a logo. Let's say this is Reebok, and I need to place it inside our brand container. So let's make it absolute center, and let's give it like 30 pixels, or maybe it's too small, 35%. All right. So let's just reset the image so it's sit correctly. All right, and now what I need to do, let me check the layers. All right, so we have this is our plan. We have main container, we have the background image, 2 screens, and the container that contain the brand logo. Perfect. And now all we need to do is to duplicate this one like 4 more times. Alright, so I just need to this image is the background color. This okay, I will do something else. No, you know what, let's keep it that way. Yeah, I will do something else. So remember that I struggle to place this container inside the main container. So let's use other practice. So instead of make it like 50% each, I will go to the main container and adjust the grid, and I will add another row in the middle. So now you can see that we have like two parts for the screen, and now this one will be for the brand container. So now I can just drag it inside, and now you can see that it's on the main container. It sits on its own, but I will make sure I can stretch it so it will lose the height. But you can see that it's stretched on both rows, the second one and the third one, and we need it to stop on the third one. So now it sits perfectly inside, and we can adjust the grid to be always 100 pixels. So it's like this, but I will make it absolute 100 pixels. Perfect. So for some reason our section is bigger than it should be. You can see that this is the footer, but I can see that this one is continue. So something is not quite okay here. So if I change this one to be auto, no, this one should be 100 VH. Alright, and now let's check. No, it's not fixed yet. So we need to make sure that everything is set correctly. So this one is 1FR, and max content. This should be 100 pixels. Okay, so what happens here? The section shouldn't have height from its own, and okay, now I can see that this container has min height. So if I want to remove it, I need to unstretch it, and then I can make it none, and I can bring it back to be stretched. Perfect. And now you can see that it's not going up on the footer. So now it's perfect. It's perfect. So all we need to do is I will make this one on top of this one, okay, and I need to duplicate it. Okay, so I can just duplicate, and then I stretch it, and I fixed the positioning. It needs to start from column 2, and I will do it again and again. So this one should start on third, and duplicate again and again. Alright, so all we are missing right now is the divider. It's like these horizontal lines. this line, vertical line, sorry. Okay, so let's add a color, not color, decorative vertical line. Let's add this one here. Oh, sorry, this was a mistake. Okay, we have our line, and we need to make sure that it sits under the section and not inside one of the cards. Okay, so now let's stretch it and change the styling, so it should be 1 pixel, and change the color to something like grayish. Let's add new color, and let's do something like this. Alright, so it's very subtle, and it should be, the positioning should be docking to the left side, and it should divide between these both, between these two columns, so it starts on 2 and on 3. Perfect. And now all we need to do is to duplicate it, but you will see when I duplicate it, for some reason it gets 0, you can see, but you can basically or stretch it or dock it from here. So let's do both methods. So if I stretch it, and now I repositioning it to start on 3 and on 4, and remove the margin, and now it sits correctly. So if I duplicate it again, I can see that it's here. It's like 1 pixel, but I can dock it from top and then remove all the margin and position it again. 4 to 5. 4 to 5 or 5 to 6? Yeah, 4 to 5. 4 to 5, and let's do it again. Stretch it, move the margin, and 5 to 6. And now let's publish the site, and let's see the live version, how it's look. Okay, so it looks something like this, and you can see this is our header, and this is our content section, and this is our footer. But it's more than 100 VH, right? We have overflow. We will fix it later. Okay, so the second thing we need to, let's add a line here, but I will show you some hack how to do this vertical line. We can add a horizontal line here, but it's too complicated because we have so much containers here. So let's add a container to our main header, and let's stretch it, and let's make sure it is on the background, so arrange send to back. And now I will remove the border, but I will add a shadow from top to bottom with no blur and a solid color, and this is the same gray color. And now you can see that it should, we need to add like 1 pixels margin from bottom, because basically it's behind this container, or we can move it to the front, but let's add 1 pixels from bottom. And now you can see that we have, if I publish the site, you can see it better, and you can see that we have this line. Perfect. Alright, so I forgot something. You can see that we have this banner EditorX created on EditorX. So we need basically to remove it from our calculation, and then we don't have the overflow, and also we need to remove the footer. So let's do it. So the first thing, we need to don't display the footer, and now we need to calculate 2 things. So first thing is this header, this header, and the second thing is the Wix brand. So totally it's 110 pixels. So I will go to my section, and this is a powerful tool. You can change the absolute height to calculation, and then you can choose, you can type 100 VH. I want you to be 100 VH, but minus the header and the footer. And now let's make sure we don't have this one here. Oh, what happened? Wait, I will bring back for a second the footer, and let's select our section, and this one should be like nothing. So no, wait, you know what, let's keep it like 500 just a second, and then we will play with it later. And now if I refresh it, oh, I forgot about the footer. So that's non display, and now you can see that I don't have scroll here. Okay, but for now let's keep the footer here. Alright, so this is our section, this is our container. So let's preview it from here, and alright, so this is our section. Oh, it gets zeroed for some reason. Alright, and let's add, so now let's go to the animation. Okay, so we have we need a toggle, right? We need to open it from, so let's just add a button that says menu. Alright, so let's dock it to the left side, and it will be 100%. And you know what, let's change the styling, no border, and let's add shadow from left to right, and same color as our dividers, and no blur. Alright, so it looks like this, and on hover only the text will change color to, let's say, this purple. Alright, perfect. So now to the animation part. For this one we need okay, I just forgot to, let's update our logos. So this one should be armor, let's say, and to restore the perfect resolution I need to click it, and let's say you are 20 and always center, and you will be, let's say, Nike. Alright, you see how it's easy. I mean, after I create one layout exactly as I want it to be, and now I just need to change the content. And let's say this will be a new balance, and let's restore it. It should be at 20 pixels, 20%. Alright, and the last one should be Adidas. Alright, so running, restore. Alright, maybe. Alright. Oh, it's not okay. Okay, but we forgot to change the images. Alright, so let's do it. This is the Adidas one. Why it's cut? Maybe I upload it this way. it should look okay. I don't know why. Anyway, let's change the image. So this is the image. Change image, and let's pick the Adidas. What is Adidas? This one. And New Balance. This is the image. Nike should be in this format, and Under Armour, this image. Right, perfect. So now we need to use Velo for the interactions, and I guess very soon EditorX needs to come out with Wix interactions. So I guess you can do it with without any line of code, but till then, let's do it. So we need to activate dev mode. Let's activate it. Alright, so I just need to replace this New Balance icon because it's no good. So you know what? We have this tool. I can just make a filter and make it with more contrast, and then it's perfect. Alright, so okay, let's think what we need to do. So basically, each time I'm hovering, let's publish it. So basically, each time I'm hovering some of the containers, it should play the animation, right? So this is why we create our main container. So the hover will apply on the hover one. So now you can see that this is display all the IDs, but if I toggle this toggle, I see the names that I gave to each one of them. But I will change the IDs so I know exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so I will call this one card number 1. I will copy it and paste it here, only change the number. So this one is the 3rd one, and this is the 4th one, and this is the 5th. Right, so let's create a function for this. So what we need to do, we need to create a hover effect, right? So let's create a function. Let's call it function. Let's call it activate hover. Let's call it cards over. Okay, so we need to map all our boxes. Okay, so we can say let's set const boxes equals to we have box, no box, we set card, right? So card number 1, and let's copy it, make it easier. We have 5 like this, right? So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5. There is an easy way to do it, but I want to show you another way to do it. Okay, so I need to say for each one of these boxes, when I'm hovering, do something, right? So I can say boxes for each box for each. You know what? Let's change it to card, and this should be cards. Alright. So for each card, let's do something. So we need to do. So this one, it should hold the right ID. Okay, so you can say $W card, because this is the ID. On mouse in, do something, right? And I can duplicate it and say do something. Let's say this is something, right? To do something. Alright, so on mouse out, do something else. Alright, so what we want to do, we said that this card is on top of this image, so we need the top screen to go up and the bottom screen to go down. So we need to find the ID of this card, right? This is the top, this is the bottom. So I know what is the main box, and I can see that I need to get the children. Okay, so I can say if I want to get let's do our names. So if I want to get the top screen, is the child of this card, but in the position, this one is the first one, second one, third one, right? But because this is an array, so arrays start with 0, so this is image is 0 position, 1 position, second position. So I can say $W you know what, let's do it another way. I can store it, okay? So I can say const top screen equals to the card children in position 2, right? And the bottom screen, so let's say bottom screen is 0, 1, 2, 3, right? And this is why I duplicate it after I create one, because I know now they all identical. Alright, so what we want to do to the top screen, so we need to use Wix API Wix Animation Timeline. So Wix Animation Timeline API. So let's see. So the first thing we need to do is we need to import so we can use it. So we need this first line. So basically we need to import Wix Animation from Wix Animation. Now we can use the timeline. And now we need to define our timeline. So we can call it directly or we can store it, but let's see. So we can call Wix Animation Timeline, and if we want to add, okay, this is the add. So let's see how it works. We store our object and then we call timeline add. We call the object and we give him like the command what to do. Here is rotate, scale, duration. So we have multiple things we can play with it. Alright, so let's start with declare our timeline. So we can set Wix Animation Timeline, and we want to add animation, right? So add, and the target we said this is our object, so we want to animate the top screen, right? So let's copy it here. And the animation, how it get an object, right? So let's do it. So it needs to get an object, and now what we want to do to the first container, we need to scroll it up, right? So up is the Y position, right? Where I can find it. There is animation, and then we have rotate, scale. You can see Y, vertical pixel target, to move the element to vertically. Okay, so we need this one, and so we can say Y, and we want to scroll it up. Okay, so let's say just a random big number. So let's say 500 pixels go up, and the duration, let's say a quarter of the second. Okay, so something like this. Alright, and we need another one, right? We need the bottom screen. So the bottom screen, you go to the different direction. You need to go down 500 pixels. Alright, and we need to play it. We need to say play. Alright, so when the card is going out, we need to do the opposite, right? So the top screen should go back to zero. This is the default positioning, like it is now. Okay, so it should go back to 0, and let's increase the duration so it's look like a more slow go back slowly. Okay, so let's see if it's working. So we need to call this function from the already. And now let's preview. So this one is working. The three is working, and the others is not working. We can see that we have like an arrow here, but let's see why. But it's working without the animation. I wonder why. Okay, but so let's see. We had lots of error. So the animation function called timeline was called with the following invalid option keys, durations. Okay, this should call duration without s. So let's remove it. It should be duration, and let's fix it, and let's do it again. So this one is working. You can see it's happening in steps. Okay, it's not together, but okay, well, this one is not working. So let's find out what. The order should be correctly. Oh, maybe the IDs is not right. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one should be 4. All right. So now let's. Yeah, it's working. The problem is that the animation is happening one after the others, right? It's not together. So let's try to fix it. So there is something that called offset. So offset mean, you can see offset mean when animation start in the timeline. When no effect is specified, the animation add. Okay, so So basically, if you not specify the offset, so this animation, it's like a script, okay? This line happened first and this one is after. But you can add an offset, and you said, okay, you will start, if you say 0, it's exactly the same time as the first animation. But if you said, okay, let's say you will start 100 milliseconds. So basically this animation will start, and then after 100 milliseconds, so this animation is not finished yet, but the second one will start also. Okay, so we need the 0, so they all will start together. Alright, so let's try it, and you can see that they happening together. So let's publish the site and see how it looks on the live site. And well, this is look amazing, right? And it's also responsive. You see that it's super responsive. We don't have tablet and mobile, and I will not do it, but it's look great. Okay, but you can see that when I'm hovering it, you can see that this line is disappear. You see this line, the horizontal line between the footer and the header. And this has happened because we didn't set the overflow of the content. You can see that when I'm hovering, you don't see it right now, but basically this container that is go out 500 pixels is actually increase our page. Okay, so to fix that, you know what, let's add a color to our page. I want you to see it. Our page, let's add a pink color. Okay, so now you can see that when I'm hovering, you will see exactly where the top and the bottom screen goes. Okay, you can see that it's right here. So to fix that, we need to do something very simple. We need for each, okay, there is two methods. I can set overflow height of overflow hidden to all of to each container, or simply I can select the section because all this content is inside the section, and here on the overflow content I can set it to be height, and then you will see that it's gone, but you don't see it because it's outside of the section. So when I'm hovering it, now we don't see it. Perfect. Alright, so let's bring it back, the page color to be white. Alright, and I will add a background color to the header. Alright, so basically we achieve this animation, right? But I also saw this beautiful sidebar, and I want to create it, but it should be, it's like an extra. It's like we will do something else, you know, we will not do exactly the way it's in like the video. Okay, so let's add a sidebar. So for the sidebar I will use a vertical section. You can see here this is a vertical section, and I will set it to be like 300 pixels width. And okay, I will add a container inside of it because we need to put some content inside, and I remove the border. I don't think the border, and let's design it a little bit. Okay, so I will apply, I don't need a grid, but let's say when we open it, we want to display let's say my brand name, or we call it like sport shop, and it should be centered, and let's do something like this. It should be smaller, maybe too small, but and let's set it to be 90% width and 30 pixels from top, or maybe 20 pixels from top. All right, and now we need like, let's create a series of buttons. Okay, so this one will be 100%, and let's apply a grid of 3 columns. I just love to work with grid. And let's place here, you know what, let's delete it and just copy this one, copy and paste, but I don't need the shadow, so let's remove the shadow and let's change the text to be like this. And now let's add, this one will be, you know what, let's make it stretched so it fills the whole column, and let's duplicate it, stretch it again, and fix the positioning, and duplicate it again, and again fix the position. Alright, so let's call it welcome woman men. So this one should be welcome woman and men. Alright, we just forgot to remove the border from the container and adjust the grid and said each one of you will be 50 pixels. Okay, right, and now okay, this one mean height 150. Okay, I can live with it. Alright, and it should be centered. And now this is look huge, you know. You know what, let's do it. What else we need? We have like another menu here. Let's do it. So let's use vertical menu. Okay, so menu, vertical menu, something like this. Let's put it here, and again 100%. Why it's so huge? Oh, because it's 1000. All right, and let's dock it to the bottom. Let's set 30 pixels from bottom. Why it's so high? Oh, I know why. And let's manage the menu, and we need some dummy menu. So let's manage menu. Let's duplicate this one, and let's say new in. Oh, it's gonna be a nightmare. Okay, new in fashion shows. Let's add anchor. What it was, I forgot already. New in fashion shows. New in fashion shows and campaign and sell. Campaigns. Don't know how to write it. Campaigns. This. Come on. Campaigns. Alright, and the last one is sell, of course. So sell. Alright, so let's remove our home. Remove from menu. Perfect. Let's design it a little bit. Let's make it super light and 14 pixels. You know what? I like it. Let's keep it that way. Okay, so let's see how it looks. All right, something like this. Okay, I can leave it. All right, so the second thing we need to do is to make it fixed, right? Because it should not take space from our page. So on scroll, it should be fixed and overlap our next section. All right, great. So I want to delete it. I don't need it, but let's keep it for a second. I will just make this one. Let's make it black, so I can see exactly what I'm doing. And the text element created by EditorX, let's make it this. Alright, so now we have our side menu and we have our trigger. This is the menu here on top, and just to make it really nice, so let's copy this container and paste it here, and let's make it something like, let's add 50%, and then adjust grid, make it rows, and this should be 100% height, and dock to the top, and absolute center, and let's adjust the grid, and you should be max, you should be auto. Alright, and now let's see. Now let's make it smaller, this container. Let's make it fixed, and it should be like 500, something like this. And now this should be fashion and beauty, like the video, right? beauty, I think. And lifestyle, we don't need this menu. Life style. Alright, so let's change the design. It should be super light, and let's make it 40, and let's make it like this. So I can copy paste the design exactly from here, copy element design, and then I have my brush, and let's do it again. And I want this shadow, so let's add a shadow. Oh, I have it already. Alright, great. And also for this one. And now look at that, it's look amazing. right? So we have the hover, we have the sidebar, and we have the menu, which is look very nice. And now let's toggle our sidebar. So what we need to do, we need to start with that we don't want to see the sidebar on when we go inside the page, right? So we need to say, first of all, you will be not the container. I'm on the container. I need the sidebar. And let's change it. I will call it sidebar menu. All right, great. So you will be hidden on load. So let's see how it looks like right now. So when I reload, I don't see the sidebar. Perfect. This is exactly what I want. And when I click this menu, I want to see the sidebar. So we need to create another function for the sidebar behavior. Alright, so let's create a function. Activate sidebar menu. Alright, let's fix this. Alright, so first of all, we need to know what is the element, right? So it's const sidebar equals to sidebar menu. All right, and now we need to toggle it, right, to bring it in and out. But you can see here that the first positioning is not as we want it to be, right? So we can make first time animation that's take this sidebar 300 pixels to the left. That means that it will go outside of our site. Oh yeah, so I said 300 because the width of this sidebar is 300. So let's say sidebar width equals to 300 const, of course. All right, const. All right, so this one is 300 pixels, right? And okay, so now we can use the Wix Animation Timeline to push it. So we need to add an animation sidebar element. We need to push it from the X position. So X minus how much? Sidebar width, right? And then we need the duration should be 0, right? It should be immediately, but this is the default, so I will not write it. So, and we need to play it, right? Play. So, all right. So now the sidebar, when we go to the page, is hidden and it's minus 300 pixels. So the second thing we need to do, we need to create an animation that will trigger when we click the menu. Okay, so we can set const timeline sidebar timeline equals to Wix Animation Timeline, add sidebar menu, and when we click what we want to go to happen, we want to take it back to the original positioning, right? Because because I have a blackout. Okay, because when we first start, we are taking it like minus 300, so we want to bring it back to 0. So x 0, and the duration should be something like 600 milliseconds or 500, I don't care. All right, so what we need to do, we need to give this function to specific button, right? So if we select the menu button, and we can call it like menu button. Okay, so this is our trigger, right? So let's store it also as a variable. So const menu button equals to menu button. All right, so menu button, on click, we need to toggle it. All right, so sidebar timeline, we need to play it, right? So play. All right, so let's see if it's working. So I click menu and nothing happened. Oh, because I didn't call this function, so I need to call it already. All right, so let's preview it now, and when I click it, we see the sidebar, but because we don't have a background color for the sidebar, so let's add white background. So now when I click it, you can see that it's here. Okay, but we also need to push the header and this section with the content. We need to push it also, right? Because it's now covering our menu. See, we don't see the menu button, and it's actually more nice. It's have a beautiful effect. Okay, so we need to get these items. Okay, so let's set const how we call it, page sections equals to, and I can store it like this. So I can say header, and we have also this section, the content section. So section 1. All right, so section 1. Oh, I do it like this, I think. I forgot. Oh, like this. All right, so what we want to do, we want to add the sections to go exactly same pixels within this animation. So let's add it. Okay, so let's add another animation, and let's add the page sections, and the X should be 300. So basically this is the sidebar width. Alright, so let's see if it works. So when we click menu, you see this is also push, but the header is not. Why the header is not pushing? We have some alert I didn't see. Oh, because I call it header 1 and it have different ID. So now, oh, and also I saw that the animation is not happening at the same time. So if you remember, I need to update the offset to 0. And now when I click the menu, it push everything. So the second thing I want to do, I want to make it darker. You can see that I want this one to be like darker. So I will add opacity to this both sections. So I change the X position, and I will also add opacity of maybe something like this. So let's preview it, and when I click, you see that now it's not full color. And I can do even more. I can change the page color. You can see I can change the page color to be, like I said, black, and now it will be darker. So when I click menu, it's get darker. Okay, but now we can't close it, we only can open it. So we need to do it differently a little bit. So okay, we need to check, we need the button to do same how I call it, same action. Okay, so basically I need to do it differently. Okay, so I need another function. I will call it function toggle sidebar. All right, and I need a section, and I need to check if the section is visible or not. So basically I need to say if sidebar is visible, so I need to close it, right? So I want to play this animation, but I don't have access to this animation because I store it here inside this function. It's not a global one. So I will do something else. I will copy this one and remove the declaration here, and I will declare it on the top. And now when I call this function, I will set the sidebar timeline to this animation, and now I can also play it from here. Okay, so I can, if the sidebar timeline is visible, so I need to, you know what, let's say differently. If it's hidden, I need to play the animation, right? So sidebar timeline play, else, which means it's hidden, it's visible, I need to sidebar reverse, right? And all right, let's test it. So when I click the menu, it's not playing. Why it's not playing? Sidebar timeline is read only. Or what? What happened? It's read only. Why it's read only? Oh wait, I forgot. I need to remove this one. And now it should work. So now when I click menu, it's open. When I click back again, it's not closing. Why it's not closing? Oh, because I said hidden. It's not hidden, it's offset. Okay, I know what is the problem. Remember that we set our sidebar to be hidden on load, right? So basically, when I said when I add animation to the sidebar, it became showing. Okay, so I need to say here I need to say sidebar timeline on when I click it, I need to show it first because it became visible, but not. Let's try. So sidebar, I need it to be show, and then only after it be show I need to, and then I need to play the animation. Sorry. All right. And same here, but here I need to basically I need to say sidebar okay, sidebar timeline on reverse. When you finish to do the reverse on reverse complete, I need you to become hidden again. So I need to hide you. Come on. Alright, so let's see if it's work or not. So let's preview it. So I click the menu, I see the sidebar, and now it's visible. And I click again, and nothing happens. Why? So if sidebar is hidden, sidebar show, then sidebar play, else reverse. On reverse complete, sidebar hide. Because I didn't call it. I need to replace the menu button click with this function. Alright. So when I click menu, I click again, it's closed. Well, this is nice. Am I right? Did I miss something? Let's see how it looks on my site. Alright, so when I click the menu and click again, well, it's worked perfectly. But you know what I like to do? I like to make it can be closed if I click here also, but you can see that this is actually a section, but I want, if I click it, to close this menu. But if you remember, we already create a loop over all these containers, right? So basically I can set also close the sidebar if it's open. So I can copy this one. Let's not copy. Let's go to the activate cards hover. You can see that here we set cards for each card. So we are looping here. So we can say also card, we have mouse in, mouse out. Let's add click. So card on click, on click. Let's check if the menu is open, close it, right? So we need the sidebar. So this is our sidebar, and you can say if or maybe we can just, no, we need to play the action only if the sidebar is open. So we cannot call this function. So if sidebar menu is visible, so sidebar timeline reverse, and alright, so let's publish it and let's see if it's working. So now when I click the menu and I click on, let's say here, let's close it. Nice, I really like it. This is look amazing. It really does. So yeah, I encourage you to play with it and do it, and try to make it. And I will attach a link to this live site, and I will also maybe create like a pop-up here with a code snip and screenshot of the layers panel so you can play with it. And good luck, have fun.